How are you, Petra?
So I feel it's nice to be here. Also, of course, a bit nervous, and yeah, I'm starting to get used to being in a very weak body, and getting used to asking for help. But it feels good that people start to pay more attention to the crisis. It feels like the media is starting to pick up more. It makes me more hopeful. Yeah.
What do you want to happen by the end of the...
So we've got the 3 demands bill,
Yeah.
which is the 3 demands of exile, which is tell the truth to get to net zero by 2025, and the 3rd demand citizens assembly. So it's actually, we put it into a parliamentary bill, and before the actual elections it was going to go as what's called a private members bill, so an individual MP would have to take it forward. And there was a number of MPs who were quite interested but not really willing to go forward. And then we've got the elections now, and so suddenly it was just like, wow, the hunger strike and the everything serendipitously working together to say to the MPs, it's not about any particular party. It's saying that this climate crisis is affecting us all globally. We've got hunger. We've got in the north all the floods that were happening, and the harvest breaking down. We've got desertification, etc. And we're increasingly vulnerable of our food supply. So we need to put the climate and ecological crisis at the front of all parties thinking, and that was the idea of being around the offices outsiders, to bring that to their attention, that it needs to climb up the agenda in terms of their manifestos and bringing it out. And so that's the end, is for a party to come and speak, for the leader to speak with us as the first step for an hour, to us present the idea of the 3 demands bill, and then to carry that forward into the agenda if they get elected.
So Dr. Emily Grossman speaking outside the Conservative HQ the other day, and she mentioned in that speech about floods, about loss of crops, and I understand that part of the reason why you're on hunger strike at the moment is to highlight our vulnerability as a country. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's quite interesting sitting outside the Labour Party and seeing all the different, fast food chains and Pret, and then people bring big lunch boxes packed in plastic and paper boxes, and with their ready-made sandwiches, and people lost the relationship to food. People lost the relationship what food actually is. This made from plants. They grow in the soil, and they need water, they need air, they need the sun to grow. And we are part of this really delicate web, and people don't see it. People are not aware of that. If we think in Chennai, this year in July, there was no water in the city. People were fighting over water. It was this year in July. The floods, as we, just now, the floods in northern England. There was a man was found after 2 weeks after the floods, and because he was actually underwater for so long, and it was in South Yorkshire. So these things, they're happening now, and they affect our food supply. In Alaska, there are millions of salmons died in Bristol Bay because of the water temperatures rised over 10 degrees in the last 40 years.
Yeah. It's really shocking, isn't it? And we just live in this very privileged bubble, don't we?
And we go to Tesco's and we buy this plastic-packed, nice piece of salmon that's on special offer. We lost that relationship. Mm-hmm. We are vulnerable to this net, whether we want to know or not. One day we go in the shops and the supermarket shelves are empty.